just showered, so my hair looks a little, but I'm trying to be really quiet because it's still really early in the morning and my sister is still sleeping, so I don't want to wake her up. But you guys already know the drill. The first thing that I have to make, yes or yes, coffee. I'm gonna do some coffee so that way I'm actually awake and present for the interview, because then they're gonna be asking me all these questions and I'm gonna be like, huh? I'm gonna do my makeup and then I'll talk more there, because I feel like I'm being so loud in the kitchen right now. Okay, cool. My camera just fell out of nowhere. Whatever, we're gonna keep working with it. Let me take my glasses off. Okay, I put my sunscreen on and I'm gonna put my concealer on. It has a pump. I actually don't like the packaging on this, but the product itself is so good that I'm like, okay, I guess, compromise. That coffee really needs to start working because my brain is like, huh? What are you trying to say? So I have a job interview, and like I said, I am so grateful, so thankful, especially because the company reached out to me for the role that had just opened up with them. And I was just like, really? Reaching out to me? In every serious sense, I'm so grateful that I was even thought of. I don't have the job, nothing set in stone. I am interviewing with them today. I graduated from college with a degree in business administration with an emphasis in accounting. Right out of college, I did an internship with a firm. I was actually offered a full-time role within the audit department for their asset wealth management team. But I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I was so grateful, and I still am really grateful for the opportunity. I met a lot of wonderful people there, and honestly, my experiences were so good. But ultimately, I decided that where I was at just wasn't the place that I wanted to start my career in, because I was going into public accounting, and for me, I felt like I wanted to specialize a little more or work in something else and really build my experience in the area that I'm specializing in. So like forensic accounting, sports accounting, entertainment accounting, beauty accounting, all those places. For me, at least, I just felt like, yes, it's a great opportunity, it's a great learning experience, but I just want to go straight into the industry. I made the tough call to basically tell them that I'm so grateful for the opportunity, but that I wouldn't be continuing with them. So then after that, I was unemployed. The words J-O-B really terrified me. I was just like, who is saying J-O-B around here? Luckily, I have such a great supportive family. My family knew that this was the right decision for me, and I knew that this was the right decision for me. And I'm gonna be honest, it was really scary at first, because I was just like, oh my god, like, I'm straight out of college, like, am I gonna find another job? I'm scared. I was like, what am I gonna do? Did I really just make this decision out of nowhere? Like, what? But I have faith that everything happens for a reason, every decision happens for a reason, and I just had to remind myself of that. I was like, breathe, everything's gonna be okay, everything's gonna be fine. You made this decision for a reason, trust your intuition. Like, girl, I wouldn't lead you astray. I wouldn't lead you astray. So I've been applying to industries and areas that I would really like to gain some experience in. I'm still doing accounting. I'm still very much in the audit sector, because that is, I feel like, where I specialized in. Luckily, I already have 4 other positions that I'm being considered for, which is like, what? 4 other positions are considering me? Like, what is happening? I feel like even if I get it, or even if I don't get them, this just shows me like there's hope. There's hope out there. My meeting is in about an hour. I'm just doing some light makeup, and I feel like I'm always gonna end up doing my full beat. I don't know if my personality really fits with what my career is in. Like, if you looked at me, would you be like, yeah, she's an accountant? I don't know. I just feel like sometimes my personality and what I studied clash. I don't know if I look like I would work in accounting. I only have my bachelor's degree. I eventually want to go back and get my master's degree, because I want to be filled with degrees. I've always wanted to pursue higher education ever since I was in high school, so I knew going to college was like a no-brainer. I'm gonna go back and get my master's at my undergraduate university, because with them I could get my master's in a year. So I was just like, yes. I guess I should mention, I really like beauty. I really like makeup. I really like everything that has to do with makeup. I used to watch the beauty YouTubers back in 2016. Bethany Moda, like their back to school makeup videos. I used to eat those up all the time. And that's how I learned how to do my makeup. I'm not gonna lie, I went through really bad phases of trying to learn how to do my makeup. I was there during every era. I've always loved YouTube. I used to watch, oh my gosh, Team 10. If you know, you know. It's every day, bro. In my teenage middle school years, I used to be sat when they would say they would release the videos. I was like, it's 3 p.m. Where's the next video? Hello? I was on, oh my gosh, now that I think about it, I was on everything. I was on Vine too. It's been a while since I've said that name. Yeah, I was on everything. Tumblr, Vine. I was still there when MySpace was around. I do remember seeing MySpace. I used to want to do videos back then and like film YouTube videos, which now that I think about it, I should have done. But I'm also glad I didn't do because I was so cringy. I feel like even now I'm still a little cringy. I'm not gonna lie, but I've accepted the cringe. I've learned that I'm just a cringy person and that's okay. No, the cringe isn't for everyone. Bro, like I would film videos on my iPod, which I still have my iPod. I'll show once I'm done with my makeup. I still have my iPod. And I, in fact, found pictures of baby me. I was taking a selfie. I was that girl back then. I literally, there's a picture of me with like the down pose like this. Like I said, I was so into YouTube and all that stuff, like social media, ever since I was younger. It got to a point where I forgot if it was on my 13th birthday or on my 14th birthday. But one of those birthdays, I ended up receiving a MacBook for my birthday. And originally the MacBook was supposed to be for school use only. Like my parents were like, you're not going to use this to talk with friends. You're not going to use this to watch YouTube. Okay, I should probably elaborate more than this. I'm actually a really terrible story time teller. So if you follow along, good for you. If you're not following along, I honestly don't blame you because I am one of the worst story time tellers ever. But I actually didn't have a phone when I was younger. I did have a phone, but I could only make calls on it. And I was just like, all my friends have a phone and they're on this thing called YouTube where they see people make videos and I don't have one. And oh my gosh, I sound like such a brat. I wasn't a brat. I was just like, guys, like, because we had computer lab, like obviously I knew what YouTube was. I told my parents, I was like, guys, like I want a phone where I could actually connect to the Wi-Fi and be in this era. And my parents were like, no, like no. So eventually I wore them down because I was like, I want to play games, like I want to play games on my phone, like I want to upload on the gram. And my parents were like, oh my god, fine. They weren't irresponsible parents. I actually did get my phone checked various times. One of the ways they solved this issue was getting me an iPod. So in an iPod I couldn't make calls, but I could use it at home. I was not allowed to take my iPod to school, which I did. Sorry guys, sorry parents. And honestly, I don't know why. Like, with an iPod back then, I feel so old saying that. Okay, that made me uncomfortable. That made my skin crawl. Okay, but an iPod doesn't work unless it's connected to the Wi-Fi because it's not a phone. It wasn't a phone. It was just something to listen to music to and like games and stuff. So I don't know why I would take it to school. Like, parents didn't allow me to wear makeup until after I graduated high school. Let me repeat that. My parents didn't allow me to wear makeup until after high school, once I was literally in college. I had really strict parents growing up, and I feel like you can tell. I feel like in some areas you can tell I grew up with strict parents. Eventually, for my 13th or 14th birthday, I got a computer, and my parents were like, this is gonna be for school use only. And I was like, yeah. Put on YouTube. I think my parents ended up realizing like all she watches on YouTube is like hair and girl YouTubers talking about their day. So they were like, yeah, whatever. So I ended up watching more and more YouTube, but it got so bad when I was younger that I loved watching YouTube all the time that like my parents would be like, can you go throw the trash? And I'd be like, yeah. 30 minutes would pass and they'd be like, did you throw out the trash? And I was like, no. And you would hear in the background, it's every day, bro. And I was just like, the way my parents would ground me was they would take my computer away. I sound like such an iPad kid, but that's actually how my parents would ground me. My parents would be like, if you don't throw the trash away, we're taking the computer away for a week. And I'd be like, whoa, let's not get too serious around here. I think when I entered high school, my parents were like, okay, like we get it, you're gonna be a teenager. And they got me an iPhone and I was like, yes, like an iPhone. Bro, I was so excited that I had gotten an actual phone. This is like so embarrassing. Parents were always like very strict about my grades. If I got a C, my parents would literally, they would lose their minds. My bedtime was at 8:30, and then as I got older, they started pushing it. So when I was in middle school, my bedtime was like 8:30, and then when I was in high school, it was like 9:30. Honestly, my friends did make fun of me in high school for it because they would be like, hop on the call like at 11:30, and I'd be like, I didn't see it until 7 in the morning. I was just like, hop on the call. I was already like, by the time you guys were playing, Among Us. Like, what are you guys talking about? And I guess it worked because in college, I was the type of person that I couldn't go out and have fun or like go out with my friends or be on my phone and stuff until all my papers were written, until all my assignments were turned in, until all my projects were done. I really prioritized school and getting stuff done before the fun. So I guess it kind of worked. I guess they reverse psychology me or something. Okay, so makeup is officially finished. This is what we're going for. I also decided to do my makeup because for me, it's if I look good, I feel good, and I do good. Okay, these are the two options that I'm thinking of going for. It's this one, this button down. I feel like it's very professional, very appropriate for a interview, right? But I don't know if this is giving like she's doing too much, you know, like she's doing way too much for this interview. Like, is this too serious? Okay, if that's too serious, then I also have just this regular square top. I feel like this is still professional, but it's a little bit more casual. I don't know if I want to give casual on the first interview. I feel like that's not a good thing. I'm gonna go with the collared shirt just because I feel like that one is giving serious, professional. She's gonna be our next auditor. I think I'm gonna go with that one though. I got the collared shirt on. This is how she's looking. I feel like it looks really good. I just hit myself on my head. Oh my gosh, no way. Okay, so this is the final look. The hair, the makeup, the little shirt. I do have a little bit of time before the interview starts, so I wanted to show you guys the iPod that I was talking about. I actually did save it. Give me a second. This is her. This is literally a relic. That's my iPod. She doesn't have any battery right now because like she's dead. But oh my god, when the iPhones used to have the button. I'm gonna turn her on and then for another vlog, I'll just show the pictures that I found inside of it. Anyway, this is the end of this video. Wish me luck. I'm so excited for the interview. Hopefully I get it, and if not, it's okay, but we're not putting that energy out there. I'm set up for my interview. I am minutes away from entering the room. I'm so freaking nervous. I'm so nervous. Oh my gosh. I hope I don't blank. My biggest fear is blanking, like them asking me a question and me going, or just looking at them like, let me not put that energy out there.